This is Shannon Moore, and you're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com.
All right, we're back. Welcome to In Your Head Wrestling Radio. I'm the internet icon, handsome Jackie Jones, along with my right-hand man.
1-inch biceps, the power goat. Bah. There you go.
And the man from the UK.
The voice of the beautiful people, the cult of personality radio shows, the Lionheart, Barbie Richards, Potato Man.
Oh, man. And our special guest right off the bat, he's opened the show with us, Prince of Punk himself, Shannon Moore. Welcome to In Your Head.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on the show tonight.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Just left my tattoo shop, Gas Chamber Inc., actually. Just checking in, see how things are running there. Heading home now to have a little dinner. Other than that, man, I'm just chilling.
Are you planning on a new tattoo?
Am I planning on one, man?
Yeah.
I'm always planning tattoos, man. I'm getting covered.
You gotta run out of room?
Yeah, I haven't run out of room yet. I've still got my legs and my back to go, so I don't know. It's finding that right thing. Finding that right thing's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
You know what to suggest, Jack.
What?
You know what to suggest. The
what, in your head tattoo?
There you go.
Yeah. I'm sure he'd be all over that.
Yeah,
I'll give him a free t-shirt if he got it.
Nice, yeah. Actually, we have people come into the shop. My shop logo for Gas Chamber. It's like this, I guess, sexy cartoon chick with a gas mask on. And there's always people coming in wanting to get that on them. And we'll give it to them free sometimes just because, it's free advertising. So I guess it never hurts, man, to tattoo your logo on somebody.
Right, definitely. Let everybody know, check out the MattHardyShow.com. Season 7 just came on a DVD, and Season 8's going on right now, and you can join this different, for $4.95 a month, there's a Platinum membership, and then there's the Ultimate membership for $9.99. Are you, surprised that this has gone on so long, and, it's, caught on?
Well, I'm not surprised, it's just like it was whenever we first started wrestling. There's just that thing, I guess, that's in your heart, man. There's just something that says that you're going to make it and you're going to be able to take it to the next level. And that's kind of the way the Hardy Show was, from the get-go. Me, Matt, and Jeff, whenever we get together and we get a video camera rolling, and, we create magic, I think, together. We know how to play off of each other so good, and, we don't script nothing. We just kind of go with the flow, and, once the editing's done and the magic's put with it, turns out pretty good, man. So from the get-go, we kind of knew that it would grow and that we could do something with it. And, every day, we seem to pick up more and more members. And, like I said, we just released Season 7. And, we got many more seasons coming. So it keeps getting better and better.
Yeah. You said, you guys had, a chemistry, can bounce stuff off each other. Has anything ever happened, you were taping the show that you actually got mad about? And if you did anyone else ever, really get mad?
We don't ever, as far as me, Matt, and Jeff go, I don't think there's things that we get mad at each other about. But as far as other people that we bring onto the show, there's been several incidences, where we'll do something, they get a little angry, man. We have some angry clowns sometimes because, we might put a dog collar on them and shock them or something. And, some people get a little angry about that, which I guess that, that's expected. Especially if you're getting shot by a dog collar or shot with a BB gun or just anything like that.
Yeah, what's with these prudes? They're getting mad about getting shot by a dog collar.
Yeah, I know. What's up with that, right?
Exactly. Like you said, you're getting all the tattoos. When you started getting the tattoos, was it something you always wanted to do, or did you do it for the wrestling character? How did it all come about?
I've always been a big fan of tattoos. Whenever I was in WCW, I was part of 3 Count, and that was kind of more of a boy band type thing. I was really wanting to get tattooed then, but it just didn't really fit the image that WCW was wanting me to portray at the time. And then once I went to WWE, after WCW, it was just they were kind of against it too because everybody always told me, they're like, oh, you look like a young Ricky Morton, and nothing against Ricky or whatever, but, I didn't want to be that blonde-haired, blue-eyed, just young-looking boy toy. I've always been into rock and roll. I just like the rock and roll lifestyle, you know what I mean? I've always been into that. I've always wanted tattoos, so finally I just said, screw it, man, I'm going to get some tattoos, and I asked for permission, actually, to get a little tattoo on my shoulder, and I come back the next week with a whole complete sleeve of a dragon. And I kind of got in trouble. Actually, I got in trouble for it. And after that happened, I guess I'm responsible for WWE to put out the letter saying that you had to ask for permission in order to get a tattoo from that point on. So
Right.
I guess that was because of me.
Yeah. He said, like everybody said, you looked like young Ricky Morton, and you think that kind of character really can't get over as like a good guy anymore anyway? Like, 3 count had to be like the, it had to be like sarcastic. You guys were the heels. Like, just like a pretty boy guy could get over.
I think back in the day, I think for that era of wrestling, I think that was the case. I think the real young pretty boy look, I think, was different, because, I mean, but there was such a variety of guys, like, in that era of wrestling, I think, like, you had fat guys, you had skinny guys, then you had some guys that were in really good shape. Now, like, in the wrestling business, like, if you look, pretty much everybody's in decent shape, you know what I mean? Like, you really don't have no really out of shape guys. Like, there's a few, but not. I think more so back then. So I think that look I think it appealed to the audience more. I think this day and age, especially after the whole Attitude Era, and just this day and age now, I think people can relate to just normal people. I think they relate to more of somebody that they can look at and go, you know what, they're kind of like me in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think this day and age, I don't think it's that called for, man. I think you can kind of have your own personality now.
Mm-hmm. When they first started the 3 count gimmick, when they told you about it, like, did they like tell you it'd be kind of a comedy gimmick, or were they kind of selling it like you guys would be like this real boy band and you try to get like put out like real music or anything?
Well, at first it was kind of pitched to be, like a real boy band. I mean, we went in and, recorded the songs and stuff, and, Jimmy Hart was the mastermind behind it. And, he, I think at one point, he was going to try to do, a serious boy band with it.
Yeah.
Just because, Britney Spears and everybody was so hot at the time. And once we started, going out in front of a wrestling crowd and like singing, like, and our singing was god awful. Like we become like, as far as bad guys go, as far as we were some of the top bad guys on the show. I mean, we'd do house shows, and like literally we'd have to take our green circles and hide under them because people were throwing stuff into the ring. Like, that's how much heat we were getting. Like, and it happened several times. Like, we'd get quarters and M&Ms and pennies and everything. Like, we'd have to use them like shields. So I think it started out, going to be a good, just like a babyface, team that, that the girls would love and the guys would think were cool. But it turned out that just everybody hated us.
Right.
But it worked. And I think if we could have had, if it would have been developed a little bit more, I think we could have did a lot more with it and really took it to the next level. But unfortunately, WCW was kind of going downhill at the time, and we didn't really get to run with it as long as we wanted to.
Yeah. Inchman, do you have a question from the board?
Actually, I have a question of my own. We're talking about the 3 count days. I wanted to know how you got along with Tank Abbott.
Actually, I got along with Tank Abbott pretty good. Whenever he come in, like, he was kind of out there, like, in a way, man. Like, I mean, you'd be in a restaurant, next thing you know, he's had a few beers, and he's got a chef's hat on, and, got an apron on, and, like, he's trying to fight somebody in a chef's hat. Like, I've seen that happen. And obviously, the incident where, that happened with him pulling the knife out of his leather jacket, I guess, on Nitro that night. And putting it to, I think I can't even remember whose throat it was, but he held a knife up to somebody's throat on live TV. Oh. And, just little stuff like that, like you never knew what to expect. But personally, I liked Tank. I thought he was a cool guy. And I guess one of the funniest things I ever seen was, I didn't even know he was going to do it, was whenever he come out and he actually had a 3 count shirt on, and we had 3 green circles on the front of it, and he had 2 of the circles cut out so his nipples could hang out. And he had left one of the green circles in the center of the chest. Like, never seen that. I thought that was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen, was this badass tube fighter come out with his nipples cut out of our T-shirt, and I didn't know what was worse. I didn't know if it was the fact that he had circles cut out around his nipples, or the fact that a shoot fighter is wearing a 3 count shirt. So it was, it was kind of up in the air.
Did you ever, you think you'll ever see Tank Abbott on the Hardy Show?
dude, Tank Abbott would fit right in on the Hardy Show. Like, he would. I tell you, like, we could take him into a restaurant and we would have a whole season of stuff just based off of Tank Abbott. And you never know what to expect, man. One day he might end up on the Hardy Show.
That'd be awesome. Barb, you got a question?
Yeah, one of our fans, Afro, wants to know, were there any ideas thrown around for you and Matt Hardy to go for the tag titles during that run?
Whenever me and him was together at WWE?
Right.
I don't think, I don't know. I don't know if there's ever really any talk about us becoming tag team champions. Like, we had some really good matches together. Like, whenever, we would end up wrestling as a tag team, whenever I was visiting Afro. But at that point, like, it was so crazy just because you didn't know what you're doing kind of week to week, at that time. So I think it was more or less just, I guess, just they didn't really know where they were going to go with it, man. And then next thing you know, Matt left for Raw, and then Paul Heyman started punishing me and feeding me to every big guy on the roster. And then from there, it was just kind of blah.
Was that, you said that was like punishment by Paul Heyman, or do you think he was trying to use you, or what did you think about working with Paul Heyman?
Paul Heyman, I think Paul Heyman has a great wrestling mind. I think, especially whenever he had ECW, whenever that was his own child, I think that his wrestling mind then was awesome because he took talent and he knew how to really bring out their strengths and and hide their weaknesses. He could take a guy that that couldn't wrestle but had some other strength and really make them superstar. And if you look at the old ECW roster about whenever Paul had ECW, he took some guys that most normal promoters wouldn't even give a chance in the ring, I don't think, and actually made them superstars. And I think that's one of Paul Heyman's big pluses is just the fact that he knows how to bring the the strength out of somebody and hide their weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. Like with you personally though, what did you think about working with him?
Working with Paul, like whenever I was my whole run at WWE, it's really hard to judge one person because there's so many different people in charge, and it's like I can't sit here and say that Paul creatively was hurting me or helping me because you don't, unless you're one of the top few guys there, like you really don't know what to expect on who's helping you and who's hurting you. From a personal standpoint, like, talking to Paul, like, I always got along with him. I never had a problem with him. But, business is business, and, sometimes people are going to do what they think's right for business, whether, I think it's the right thing or not.
Yeah. I've been watching some of the Hardy show, and there's some, like, crazy stuff with electricity, putting on your, like, so this little electric thing that I guess was, like, stimulating your muscles, and Matt then put it on his head, and it was like shocking his teeth and stuff.
That was actually I had a injury on my lower back and my butt area, so like those I just used them on my butt the night before, and Matt was putting them all over his mouth. But yeah, it was actually it's a pretty funny thing. Like that's just an example of like with the Hardy show, like. We were just at my house and we were filming stuff, and they just happened to be laying around just from, I guess, the day before whenever I, was trying to, I guess, cure myself, and they were laying around, and we just started messing with them. Next thing you know, like, they ended up on the Hardy show, and Matt's, like, shocking his teeth out of his head.
Has there been any injuries you guys got from any of this stuff? Or just, like, little stuff?
Yeah, we always get bumps and bruises, man, like, just, especially, whenever you're outside and, like, diving in a fire pit or something like that, you might get burned a little bit or, like, Matt, or, like, just, it's little stupid injuries most of the time. Like, we filmed an episode where we ended up, it was a win the shot, call the spot episode, and we were dumping all this different stuff on Matt, like, from mayonnaise to ketchup. And then I think we actually had, like, some John Boy and Billy's barbecue sauce or something. And Matt, he opened his eyes. I ended up dumping the barbecue sauce in his eyes, and like he started freaking out. And it was funny because it's on camera, and like he starts freaking out, but he didn't want to stop filming because like that was kind of a one-shot take, like, because, he was all dirty and everything, and, like, would have had to go buy a whole thing full of groceries if we tried to reenact that. So, yeah, just, every once in a while we get some bumps and some bruises, and but it's worth it. It's fun, man. People laugh at it, and, it creates a good episode.
Mm-hmm. Enter any more questions from the board?
Yeah, Afro Twinkie from our message board. He would actually like to know who came up with the Prince of Punk gimmick.
Actually, the Prince of I came up with the name, and as far as the term is the Prince of Punk. Like the first time that I left WWE, like I was just in the home, and then they called me Shannon Moore, and it's just Shannon Moore. That's my real name, and I like using that in some way, shape, or form, just because that name can never be taken from me. But I just wanted to attach something to it, and I started doing some overseas tours and stuff, and I was, just the whole Prince of Punk thing, like this, I don't know, it would ring to me. And then once I went to TNA, I pitched it there, and they kind of liked it, and they ran with it, and they did a good job with it, with running with it, and they gave me the opportunity, and I guess technically TNA, like they pretty much gave me the chance to really, get the name out there and let the people know me as the Prince of Punk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people on our message board were wondering if they'll ever see you back in TNA.
TNA, man, I would love to. I'd love to go back to TNA. I had a great time there. But unfortunately at the time I was going through some personal issues. I was going through a divorce. I wasn't under contract whenever I was working there, and at the time I needed to come up with just some money just to make it through my divorce. I needed to know what I was going to be making once my divorce was over, just so I could, pay for my house and all that. And that was one of the reasons at the time. Just I had to handle my personal issues, so that's why I had to leave TNA for a while. From a career standpoint, that was the best thing for my career, was to be in TNA, and I knew that. It was a great crew. Like working with Dixie was awesome. She you can talk. You can actually talk to her. And unfortunately, handling those personal issues kind of hurt my career.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people talk about the WWE style, and was that something you had to change your style when you worked in WWE?
Yeah, I did. I had to, I had to change my style to, their format. They have a different format from, what I was used to in WCW. I was told a lot of times in WCW, hey, go out there and have a 20-minute car crash, and then the same person that was telling me go out and have a 20-minute car crash is telling me now, to go out there and don't do the 2 moves that you would normally do in WCW. So it took me a while to get adjusted to that format, but luckily that it was a lot easier on my body, because I don't know how long I could have held up just going out and doing car crashes every night.
Right. Do you think it's harder for a smaller guy to get over doing that style?
No, I don't. I think you just got to know where to how to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you really got to think about it. I think you look at Rey Mysterio. He's one of the smallest guys in the business. And he's over more than pretty much everybody. You know what I mean? He's one of the top guys in the business, and he's one of the smallest guys in the business. But it's like he knows how to get over. You know what I mean? And he's one of the guys that they do turn loose and they let him do his thing. And I think if they would do that with a lot of people, if they would turn a lot of people loose and let them do their thing, then I think that they would get over more, and they would be more of an asset to the company. But it's just a matter of taking the leash off, man, and letting somebody go. I think personally.
Now, I'm sure you have friends in both companies, WWE and TNA. But next week's a big night for wrestling fans. Both shows are going to be live Monday night. You think this is good overall for wrestling?
Yeah, I think it's a great thing for the business. I think I hope that TNA, I hope they start going head to head every Monday. I hope it, as far as the war, I hope the war cranks up again and people are able to, flip-flop channels, and I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing for the business. I think it's a great thing for, both companies and the boys that are, still in the business wrestling. I think it's a great thing for them. And it's just interesting, and it brings excitement back to the wrestling business. Whether you're a friend, whether you're a fan, whether you're a wrestler, or whether you're working for the company, just in any form, of fashion. It's real exciting whenever, those wars were going on in WCW and WWF at the time. Like, it's just, I can remember just sitting down in front of the TV before I was part of WCW and just studying. At the time, I was studying both programs. Mm-hmm. And once I was there, like, it was amazing. And, I definitely think that this is the start of, that all over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I look forward to watching, all 5 hours every Monday night. 3 hours a night for 2 hours of Raw.
You never know what to expect, man. Like, it was just, whether, like Luger walked out on Nitro, after, just working for WWE, and, like, there was so many just interesting moments. Like, you never knew what to expect. And I think, I can't wait just to see that again and just watch that. Mm-hmm. Whether I'm wrestling or not, like, I definitely have been at home and, just watching and just checking it out and just enjoying it, just from a fan / I guess person in the business.
Yeah. I hate to go to this caller, but we got Gene on the line.
I can't get you out of my heart. I knew you were trouble from the start.
Thanks for calling, Gene. This is wonderful calling. Intro, you got another question from the board?
Yes, I have another question from the message board. Stay Puff. He wants to know, how did you enjoy the Hulkamania tour?
The Hulkamania tour, man, was a good time. Like, it was a really professional tour. The promoter that actually booked the tour and ran the tour, like, I think he did a really good job. It was well organized. The crowds were amazing every night. They were on fire. They just, like, I wrestled Matt Cross. He, the guy I wrestled, like, he was a really good wrestler. We tore the house down every night. And then the final night in Sydney, I had a ladder match, and we went out, and, I think there was 10,000 people there or more, and, like, we just, we went out, we had a good time, man. It was, and I'm glad I went, too, because that was, Umaga's last tour, and he was a good friend of mine. And, we'd lived together, and whenever I went to WWE, whenever I went to their developmental territory for a few months, and I actually lived with Umaga there. And, it was we had a good time on the tour, man. I got to spend some, good quality time with him. And, unfortunately, whenever we got back, he passed away. But, I look back on it, and, like, it was an awesome tour, man. Hogan and Flair, they tore the house down every night. Like, it was like being a kid and just, sitting back and watching their matches and just enjoying their matches. That was magic, just those two being in the ring together and watching that. So, yeah, I had a great time.
What do you make of the TNA Hulk Hogan partnership?
I think it's a great thing, man, because, whether you love him or you hate him, Hulk Hogan is the icon of the wrestling business, man. Like, he did, build the wrestling business. He was there from the start, and he's going to be there till the end, and he's one of the most, I guess, recognized faces in the wrestling business, period, I think. And I think for him to, join hands with TNA, I think it's going to be a good thing. I think it's going to be a great ride for him. And I look forward to just seeing how everything unfolds.
I want to put a plug for this because I actually thought it was a really good DVD. Was the Omega Uncommon Passion DVD? Were you happy with, like, the finished product?
The Omega DVD that came out through Hotspots?
Yeah, it was like a documentary.
I thought it was actually, it was a good DVD for what it was. I think it could have been a little bit better. I'm still waiting on my royalty check for that.
All right. Sorry for. We'll edit that out of the show.
Yeah. But yeah, it was. I think it was pretty cool. It told, pretty much told the story of what we went through and everything, and to build Omega and where we started from and kind of who we are. But I would like one day I'd like to do one in more detail. hopefully, the Hardy Show maybe can do something like that, but just go into more detail and actually show a lot more footage, because we got so much more footage from, back then, like, for the people to see, and, like, hopefully one day the Hardy Show actually redo that DVD and actually make it better than, the one that came out.
Right. And we'll have the link around the website for the MattHardyShow.com. And anybody ever get mad that the website is thematthardyshow.com, not just thehardyshow.com?
Well, it, like, at the start, it was the Matt Hardy Show because, Matt, he actually met a guy overseas, and that's where they started talking about actually doing the Hardy Show whenever Matt was from WWE for that little bit of time. And, he bought the domain name, and he just started running with it, and then, it started to grow, and then changed it to the Hardy Show, just because, pretty much, Jeff wanted to be a big part of it, and I wanted to be a big part of it. And, like, as far as the Hardy, the Hardy Show, like, now you can type in, the Matt Hardy Show or the Hardy Show, and I think both of them work.
Both go to the same website, yeah.
Yeah, it goes to the same title, but, like, pretty much I've always, even though my last name's Morris, like, I've always been the third brother, the young brother. So, it's kind of, the Hardy Show is just, everybody always thinks I'm the third brother anyway, so it's not no big deal that, it's the Hardy Show or the Matt Hardy Show. Like, we've always been a team. We work together, kind of work toward the same goals, and, so it's, we're kind of I guess you'd say just a good fit whenever it comes to working together. I think the Hardy Show works, man.
Yeah. Any more questions from the board? Any good ones? One good one left?
Well, let's see. POD has an interesting question. He wants to know, what wrestling move do you hate being on the receiving end of the most?
What wrestling? I'd have to say, I don't know, man. Like spine, like getting every time somebody gives me a spine buster, man. Like it about knocks me out every time. Like spine busters are so rough on my neck and my head. Like I hate getting spine busters. That's probably one of the moves that I really don't like being on the receiving end of.
Mm-hmm. Are there any moves? You go on, Intra.
Oh, I just wanted to ask a message board question. Christina, she wants to know, do you have a favorite Hardy Show moment?
A favorite Hardy Show moment? I'd have to say Donkey Business, man. Like, it's an episode we did, and I was in this pasture with Jeff and Matt. Their dad, he has a couple of pet donkeys, and I remember we was feeding the donkeys like watermelons and stuff, and I actually got down because like donkeys, they'll kick you, man. Like I've always been scared, like to get kicked by them. I guess I was gonna overcome my fear that day, and there was a watermelon run like that. All the watermelon had been eaten out of it, like where the donkey had to eat all of it, from the run. So I decided to play tug of war with the donkey, like one end of the run in my mouth, and then the donkey had the other end in his mouth. We're playing tug of war to see who could give up faster, and I actually beat the donkey then. I held on longer than the donkey, his half broke off, so I claimed victory over a donkey in Donkey Business. Crazy as that sounds, but that's the stuff we do, man. We have a good time, man. Whether it's donkeys or whatever it is, man, shooting each other with a BB gun or throwing eggs at each other, it don't matter. We just try to have a good time and let the world see it.
Seemed like the eggs hurt a lot more than what you guys thought they would.
Yeah, dude, the eggs actually, like, getting hit with an egg, like, it hurts a lot worse than you would think. That's something that you guys should try there sometime on air, man. You guys should try hitting each other with eggs. How bad they hurt. That'd make a good episode for you guys, I think. You guys just busting eggs over each other.
Well, all right. Sounds
what if you froze an egg?
Frozen egg? That would really hurt then.
Yeah.
Barb's trying to cheat.
Nice.
All right, check out we'll have it right on the website in case you can't spell, but you'd have to be pretty bad if you couldn't spell, thematthardyshow.com. Or we think if you just put in thehardyshow.com, you go right there. And all 7 seasons are available on DVD right now, and you can join up and watch all the new episodes. It's good stuff. I want to thank you for coming on tonight.
Well, yeah, I appreciate it, man. And just for all those, anybody that follows us, whatever, you can always keep up with us on Twitter, man. Like, mine's the Shannon brand, twitter.com/the Shannon brand. And, we always advertise for the Hardy Show and what we got going on, like as far as current events and stuff like that, whether it's the Hardy Show or Gas Chamber Inc., my tattoo shop, like we always have events there. And so check it out, man, the Shannon brand. And I guess from there, just stay tuned, man. The Hardy Show will keep bringing you entertainment.
Excellent. Can we keep you here for a second?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the very unpredictable Matt Hardy, and you're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com. Be prepared, because like Matt Hardy, In Your Head is very unpredictable.